Imagine you've spent, the last 6 months of your life just studying for this major cloud developer exam.
Oh, that is a massive time commitment.
Right. You give it up your weekends, you're burning the midnight oil, and you finally feel ready.
Yeah.
So you log into the portal to book your test, and a message pops up saying your exam has been canceled.
Oh, no.
Just like that. Wiped out. Replaced entirely.
That is just brutal.
Yeah, the test you were preparing for effectively no longer exists in the eyes of the industry. And that is exactly the scenario thousands of tech professionals found themselves in last week. It is just sending shockwaves through the entire ecosystem.
It really is a brutal wake-up call. I mean, we've moved from a world where a certification proved what you knew to a world where it proves, well, how fast you can unlearn the old way of doing things.
Exactly. So welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to help you cut through all the corporate announcements, navigate this sudden panic, and figure out exactly how to future-proof your career.
Which is so important right now.
It is. We are pulling from a stack of freshly released sources today, primarily a March 2026 Microsoft Community Hub blog post titled, "The AI Job Boom is Here."
Quite the title.
Yeah, very bold. We also have a companion article detailing the complete overhaul of the next generation of cloud certifications.
Yeah.
But my absolute favorite source for today, we are diving into the highly active, occasionally terrified 134-message comment section of that blog post.
Oh, the comment section. That is where you see the tangible human impact of these sweeping corporate
So it's
changes.
real professionals reacting in real time.
Right, because it's one thing for a tech giant to announce a shiny new roadmap. It's another thing entirely to be the person whose career path just got a massive detour sign slapped across it.
Totally. And we want to help you navigate that detour without wasting your time or your money on obsolete credentials. Okay, let's unpack this. Before we look at the shiny new exams dropping this year, we have to look at the massive macroeconomic driver forcing this absolute wipeout of the old certifications.
Yeah, because this isn't just a seasonal update or some slight curriculum tweak. This is a fundamental, ground-up realignment of what it means to work in technology today.
So the blog post cites this staggering statistic from the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025. They are predicting that AI and tech advances could create 78 million new jobs by 2030.
78 million, that is just a wild number.
It's massive. And Microsoft's general manager of global skilling, Elisa Graceffo, is quoted calling this a once-in-a-generation shift in how work gets done.
Which is an accurate description, honestly.
Yeah. I sort of think of the tech industry right now like a snake shedding its skin.
Mhm.
Microsoft isn't just adding new courses. They're basically forcing the global tech workforce to shed its old basic cloud skin in favor of a new AI-integrated one.
I like that analogy. And what's fascinating here is the underlying philosophical shift in how we actually view artificial intelligence within an organization.
What do you mean?
Well, for the longest time, AI was treated as this highly specialized, siloed subfield. You had, brilliant data scientists in a lab somewhere building these discrete models, and everyone else just did their normal jobs.
Right, it was over there, separate from everyone else.
Exactly. But that era is officially over. AI is now viewed as an overarching amplifier of human capability across every single department.
So it's not just the data scientists anymore.
Not at all. The real shift here is that business professionals are now expected to evolve into orchestrators of AI-powered workflows and these multi-agent systems.
Okay, so if the workforce needs to shed its old skin and learn how to be orchestrators, what do those specific skills actually look like? Let's transition from the abstract idea of a job boom to the concrete credentials Microsoft is prioritizing right now.
Yeah, the new class of 2026.
Right. And looking at this massive list, I'm going to group these logically so we don't just drown you in acronyms. Let's start with the people constructing this new reality, the builders.
These are the professionals designing the workflows from the ground up.
Exactly. So first up we have Exam AI 103, the Azure AI App and Agent Developer Associate. This beta drops in April 2026. The key phrasing here in the source is multi-step reasoning workflows and multi-agent orchestration.
Heavy jargon, I know.
Yeah, I want to pause there because it sounds like a lot of buzzwords. We aren't just talking about a chatbot answering a question anymore, are we?
Not at all. Multi-step reasoning is basically the difference between asking a calculator for an answer and asking an assistant to solve a complex business problem.
Okay, give me an example of how that works.
Sure. So a multi-agent system might receive a prompt to, say, analyze last quarter's sales drops. The orchestrator agent takes that and breaks it down.
Like delegating tasks.
Exactly. It assigns one agent to query the database, maybe another agent to cross-reference weather patterns for those regions, and a third to draft a summary report. Exam AI 103 is about proving you know how to build the framework that allows those agents to talk to each other without just, well, without crashing into walls.
Oh, wow. Okay. And to make sure those agents have the right information to begin with, we have the second builder certification, Exam DP 800, the SQL AI developer.
Right, bringing AI directly into modern database solutions.
Yeah. Why is that step so crucial?
Because an AI agent is effectively useless without high-quality accessible data. Traditional databases retrieve exact text matches, but DP800 focuses heavily on concepts like vector search.
Vector search, meaning what exactly?
So vector search takes unstructured data like PDFs, emails, or images and turns them into numerical coordinates.
Okay.
This way, the AI can actually understand context and relationships, not just exact keywords. By bringing AI directly into the database level, developers are building the high-speed fuel lines for those multi-agent systems.
That makes a lot of sense. So the builders construct these incredibly intricate multi-agent systems fueled by vector databases. But here is the immediate problem. How do you stop a system of autonomous AI agents from drifting off target, hallucinating wildly, or just eating up your entire compute budget?
Yeah, that is a very real problem in the real world.
And that necessity creates our next role, the maintainers. Specifically, Exam AI 300, the machine learning operations or MLOps engineer.
Right, because building a prototype in a sandbox is easy. Deploying it to 100,000 users, that is a nightmare.
I can imagine.
The MLOps engineer ensures these complex AI solutions actually stay on the rails. They monitor for model drift.
Model drift.
Yeah, which is when an AI's accuracy degrades over time because the real-world data it encounters is constantly changing.
Oh, so it just gets less accurate if you don't watch it.
Exactly. They also manage updates to the Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, systems. That ensures the AI is pulling from the most current company documents rather than last year's obsolete policies.
Okay, so once the system is built and maintained, it obviously becomes a massive target. And that leaves us to the final group, the protectors.
This is where things get genuinely controversial in the comments.
Yeah, they do. We have Exam SC 500, the Cloud and AI Security Engineer, which expands the traditional security role to include protecting the AI models from attacks. But then we have Exam SC 730, the Cybersecurity Business Professional.
The certification aims squarely at management and leadership.
And I have to push back on this one. Exam SC 730. We have all seen those certifications that are basically just a weekend seminar for managers who want to slap the word AI on their resume without actually knowing how to write a line of code.
I get that skepticism for sure.
I mean, I see the risk of data leakage, but how does a multiple choice certification actually prepare a manager to stop an adversarial prompt injection? Isn't that still a pure engineering problem at the end of the day?
It is so tempting to view it that way, assuming only the technical implementation matters. But an adversarial prompt injection where a user tricks the AI into ignoring its safety guidelines and handing over sensitive data is not just an engineering failure, it is a governance failure.
Really? A governance failure?
Yes. Engineers secure the endpoints, but business leaders define the risk surface.
Meaning they decide what data the AI is allowed to touch in the first place.
Exactly that. A technical engineer might build a brilliant multi-agent system, but if a business manager without security knowledge demands that system be connected to the company's unfiltered payroll database to, increase HR efficiency,
Oh, they've just created a massive target.
a catastrophic vulnerability.
Huh.
Exam SC 730 is about establishing governance frameworks. It teaches leaders how to balance the massive productivity gains of generative AI against the organizational risks.
So they aren't flying blind.
Right. They need to understand the threat landscape so they can set the policy boundaries before the engineers even write a single line of code.
Okay, I can see the value in that. A manager needs to know that asking an AI to summarize proprietary financial data might mean sending that data out to a third-party model if they aren't careful.
And that is a mistake that could cost a company millions in compliance violations.
Yeah, the business side absolutely needs to know what they're dealing with.
Yeah.
But making room for all these new, highly specialized exams means retiring the old stalwarts. And the execution of this announcement, Well, it triggered an absolute wave of confusion.
The transition from the old era to the new era is rarely smooth, and this rollout certainly had its friction points.
Here is where it gets really interesting. The list of casualties is staggering. AI 102, DP 100, AZ 204, AZ 500, AI 900, and the AZ 800 and 801 hybrid administrator exams.
It is a massive sweep.
They are all being retired by the summer or fall of 2026. And the 134 comments on this official blog post are just a masterclass in real-world panic. It's the sound of thousands of people realizing their maps are suddenly outdated.
Which is an entirely justified reaction, right? I mean, when your livelihood depends on proving your competence to an employer, a change like this is terrifying.
Absolutely. Take a user named Sohemor. They actually had their AZ-204 exam canceled by a physical testing center.
That is so frustrating.
Right. They get an automated email asking them to reschedule. They come to the Microsoft blog to figure out what's happening, see the exam is dying, and they're stuck in this terrible limbo. They're literally asking the void, should I just switch to the new AI 200?
It's pure confusion.
And then you have user A7R3N coming at it from an employer's perspective, which is fascinating. They are actively panicking in the comments, asking how they are supposed to screen and hire developers now that the standard AZ-204 developer exam is being sunset.
That comment from the employer really highlights the half-life of tech skills today. The technology is moving faster than the human resources infrastructure can adapt.
It's leaving HR in the dust.
Yeah. How do you evaluate a candidate's skills when the very benchmark for those skills literally changed last Tuesday? Hiring managers rely on these certifications as a shorthand for competence.
Right, it's a filter.
Exactly. When you pull the rug out on the primary developer certification, the hiring pipeline grinds to a halt until everyone learns the new standards.
It is complete chaos for both the job seeker and the job provider. And then there is user 438, who was terrified because they thought their fundamental certificate, the AI 900, was going to expire entirely.
Oh, the fundamental certs.
Yeah, they were studying for it, getting ready to take the test this week, and suddenly they were convinced it was all for nothing.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this communication breakdown shows how unbelievably fast the industry is being forced to move. Even Microsoft, the tech giant, creating the software, defining the roles, and designing the certification roadmap, is struggling to cleanly map the transition for its users without causing panic.
Yeah, Microsoft representative Liberty Munson actually had to step into the comments section to do damage control. Liberty Munson was working overtime in that thread.
They really were. They had to clarify that the original blog post conflated exams with certifications. That is what created the bulk of the confusion. Yeah, they posted a brand new table in the comments just to specify that fundamental certifications like the one 448 was terrified about losing do not expire. If you take the old AI 900 exam today or the new AI 901 exam tomorrow, you end up holding the exact same permanently valid certification.
That is a crucial distinction. The test you take changes, but the piece of paper you already earned remains valid. Which brings us to the most important part of this deep dive, navigating this transition for you, the listener.
Yes, let's get into the practical steps.
Given this mix of exciting new multi-agent systems, deprecated databases, and confusing retirement tables, let's make this actionable. What should you actually do today?
Let's lay out the ground rules based on the official guidelines from the sources. First, if you already hold a retiring certification, just take a deep breath. It remains valid on your transcript until it naturally expires.
Right. Retirement of the exam does not revoke the expertise you have already proven. The knowledge doesn't just evaporate from your brain.
Exactly. Second, you can still renew that soon-to-retire certification, provided you complete the renewal assessment before the official exam retirement date.
Okay, good to know.
But third, and most importantly, if you haven't registered for an old exam yet, stop.
Just drop the flashcards.
Drop them. Pivot immediately to the new credentials. If you are prepping for the old AZ500 security exam, do not rush to cram and take it before August. Wait for the new SC500 in July. The market is broadcasting exactly what it values, and it values the new architecture.
Okay, I want to pose a highly practical question here, inspired by user AG15396 and a Learn expert named Julian Sharp in the comments. This is a scenario a lot of you are probably in right now, dealing with the sunk cost fallacy.
This is a tough spot to be in.
It really is. You spent 40 hours reading through material, and suddenly the official training path on the website gets a banner that says deprecated. The user asks, if I'm studying right now, today, and the path says deprecated, should I abandon that material? It's incredibly frustrating to feel like you just wasted weeks of your life.
The frustration is completely valid. Julian Sharp clarified the technical reality in the comments, though. Deprecated does not mean invalid or factually incorrect.
Okay, so what does it mean?
It simply means the material has been flagged for eventual removal, likely when the corresponding exam officially retires. The deprecated material will still teach you what you need to pass that dying test.
Okay, so it's not useless.
It's not. However, from a career strategy standpoint, I strongly advise you to absorb the loss and pivot to the new learning path as soon as they drop. Earning these new certifications isn't just about passing a multiple-choice
It's
test.
signal.
It is a critical signal to the market. Earning the AI 103 or the DP 800 proves you are aligned with the real-world work of 2026 and beyond.
You're speaking their language.
Yeah. And more importantly, it proves to an employer that you possess the agility to unlearn the old ways of doing things. You aren't just showing you know how things used to work, you are proving you know how to orchestrate the AI systems that are driving those 78 million new jobs.
So what does this all mean? We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from OBF macroeconomic statistics to vector databases, all the way to comment section meltdowns. Let's synthesize this.
Sounds good.
The core takeaway here is that the shift from traditional cloud computing to AI orchestration and multi-agent systems is not a future prediction. It is not some trendy think piece. It is fully underway right now.
It's happening today.
Microsoft's certification overhaul is the clearest map we currently have of where the industry is heading and where those 78 million new jobs are going to be located. Earning one of these new credentials, whether you are a builder creating the agents, a maintainer managing the model drift, or a protector establishing the governance frameworks, is your verifiable proof that you are ready for this new era. You aren't just reacting to AI, you are directing it.
This raises an important question, one that is a bit more philosophical to leave you with.
Okay, let's hear it.
We are seeing human certification exams becoming obsolete and requiring complete overhauls in just a couple of years because AI is advancing so rapidly. It forces you to wonder if the technology continues on this blistering trajectory, will we eventually reach a point where AI agents are the ones taking the certification exams themselves?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Will an autonomous agent need to prove its reliability, its security protocols, and its multi-step logic to human orchestrators before we allow it into our corporate networks?
An AI sitting down to take a multiple choice test to prove to us that it's safe to use.
Exactly.
That is a wild, yet entirely plausible thought for where we might be just a few years from now. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the AI job boom. Keep learning, keep evolving, and whatever you do, do not get stuck studying for a test that no longer matters. Stay curious, and we will catch you next time.